If you're watching this, guys, please subscribe. I see a lot of people watch the video but don't subscribe, so don't be a guava and fucking subscribe to our podcast. It would be quite nice. Today, I think we're going to touch on a bit of the South African boxing scene with Rowan. So, Rowan, if you can just tell us who you are, what you're about, what's your record so far in the boxing scene, what's been going on, just the floor is yours.
Rowan Campbell, I'm 11-0, South African super middleweight, all African IBO champion and South African super middleweight champion. I fight under Rodney Berman Golden Gloves Promotions, and yeah, boxing is booming in South Africa at the moment, basically. Okay,
that's quite interesting. So you say it's booming at the moment. You're saying it's a good time for people to get into boxing, good time for everyone to actually start taking the sport, because I think it was dying out slowly at a stage.
Yeah, it was
before Kevin Larina's time. I'd say, Kevin, I think, did a lot for the sport, and he's actually one of your training partners.
Yes, Kevin and I are teammates, but it was booming so much in the 90s. Like the White Buffalo even fought Mike Tyson, Corey Sanders knocked out Vitaly Klitschko, one of the Klitschko brothers. So there was so much going on in the early 2000s, late 90s, late 80s, 70s even, with boxing, that boxing went on like quite a big dip. I'm not sure why exactly it happened. Right. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think that's a worldwide thing as well, because boxing was absolutely huge in that era with the Mike Tysons and all of that.
But did it go down globally, like after that?
It's had global dips. The heavyweight division has just dipped now until Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua kind of brought the heavyweight division back up. Before Anthony Joshua, boxing was doing well, but not really the heavyweight division.
Yeah, and it's nice to see as well, because there's been like a dynamic between the Anthony Joshuas and the Tyson Furies and the Deontay Wilders. There's been a nice dynamic between those type of boxers. So it's I think it's lifted it quite a bit.
Andy Ruiz as well, little Mexican.
Yeah, he came out of nowhere.
Yeah. But I actually watched a lot of Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz is a lot better than people think. Like his hands, they call it whoop. So you get like power punches, you get fast punches, and you get whoopee punches. And they consider whoopee punches the most dangerous punches. So now you got to picture a whoop. At the end of the whoop, where it goes whoosh, is what whoopee punches basically do. It's like the forward and back motion to create it.
Okay, that's sorry to sound like an idiot. Who is this fella you're talking about?
Andy Ruiz. He's the...
Folks are looking at me here.
He just caused the major upset against Anthony Joshua. Became the first ever Mexican heavyweight.
No, he wasn't joking. He was like... Okay, but Rowan, I want to touch a bit on these two belts that we have in front of us, right? So obviously these are your belts. They're very, very cool. I mean... What are they? Who are they for? What weight class is it? How does it work?
I think they're for Rowan, dude.
Obviously. But I mean, like, is it for African continent? Is it for the world?
So this is a South African title. So I can only fight other South Africans for this title. Someone from the Congo or someone internationally can't challenge me for this.
And it's limited to the weight division.
Yes, every weight division has their own champion. So actually my next fight on the 30th of November is against the light heavyweight guy, and I'm a super middleweight. I'm the super middleweight South African champion, and he's the light heavyweight South African champion.
One of you have to join each other.
No,
is this a defense of this belt here?
It's called a catch weight. So usually I would fight at 76, and usually he would fight at 79. So now a catch weight means you make up like your own weight and you meet in the middle. So it's 78. So we're basically just fighting to see who's the best out of the super middleweight and light heavyweight champion.
Awesome. And then how does it work? How does someone contend for a belt? Do they come up to you and call you out, or how do you organize the fight for something like that?
It's basically done by promoters and managers. So like, let's no disrespect, but like you couldn't come and challenge me for this because you need to create
I wouldn't want to either.
You need to create like a name first to challenge for the belts.
So, but like, how does it work? Do they like smack talk over Twitter, like with this day and age, like, or do you just like say, do you guys like meet mutually in the middle and say, listen, I want to fight you, you want to fight me?
In South Africa, a lot of people, like, I won't lie, my name's getting thrown around a bit because they want to fight for one of these two. But there's no like smack talk. It's just like, hey, in an interview, they want to fight Rowan Campbell, basically. That's all they will say.
Well, let's just elaborate on
this belt. Yeah, I'm also wondering about this belt.
So this one is all Africa. So it's a baby belt to the world belt. It's quite hard to explain, but Kevin Larina is basically
I don't think any belt's a baby belt though.
Champion.
It's still cool.
This is a all Africa champion, so it's not like the world. It's all
just Africa. So only people in Africa can basically contest for this belt,
and that's also subject to categories. So there'll be an All Africa champion for each weight segment.
Yes.
Okay.
But
Well, so
they won't have a belt for every category because also boxing's kind of like brutal in the sense that if your weight category doesn't bring in a lot of attention, they won't
that's
give you
interesting.
belts for that.
That's very
Yeah.
interesting. So which categories would you say are probably the most popular at the moment? Because I mean, I think in the 80s, like around Mike Tyson's era and like those, like maybe even way before that, like Muhammad Ali, I think heavyweight boxing was probably the most popular.
100%. So
And
still
now-
to this day, like the heavier you are, the more money you'll bring in. It's just because there's a higher chance of a KO, and boxers are also considered as like an entertainer. So the heavier you are, generally, the more you get paid. But that was like specifically in the 80s, you know, like Muhammad Ali, all these guys that we mainly know of was heavyweights. There is a few exceptions like Sugar Ray Robinson and a few. Rocky Marciano was a heavyweight. All the others were heavyweights. But
and then with the Floyd Mayweather era,
so this
I think he changed it up a bit or not.
Yeah, he made the welterweight division boom. Canelo Alvarez has made my weight category boom, the super middleweight. So I actually started at light heavyweight, and which is above super middleweight. And the main reason why they brought me down was just there's way more competition in the super middleweight division.
Okay, that's very interesting.
So there's a lot of booming, but I would say
Canelo was a super middleweight. But he's like he has belts in a bunch of different weight classes.
He started at welter, so he fought Floyd Mayweather because it was also booming there. But I think he was more of a natural middleweight.
Okay.
But he would fight middleweight, super middleweight. So super middleweight's a little heavier than middleweight. And Billy Joe Saunders, there's a lot of super middleweights. So there's basically like 5 booming, always heavyweights. The super middleweight division is huge. The cruiserweight division is also massive with Usyk, Tony Bellew, and Walters will also be big since Floyd Mayweather, and Lomachenko's.
I heard you speak about Lomachenko before. So for those of you who don't know at home, we actually grew up with Rowan Campbell, so we actually know him very well, which is quite nice. Probably the easiest guest to get on the show at the moment. But so maybe tell them a bit about your backstory. How did you get into boxing? Because we obviously know, because we grew up with you. But let everyone know, and then maybe give a few hints and tips along the way for someone maybe getting into the boxing industry now, and what tips you've learned on how to actually break into the boxing industry.
Yeah, well, first of all, boxing isn't as easy as people think it is. Like, a lot of people, I've actually bumped into a few where they think they're just going to get a massive payday straight from the get-go. It doesn't work like that. And it's like extremely hard. The training is extremely taxing on the body. You're also getting punched in the face.
And we've seen that with you. Yeah, we don't like that at all. But we've seen that with you. I mean, you stopped going out a lot. You obviously had to make sacrifices to get to where you are now.
That's one of the questions that I actually wanted to bring up with you was, obviously, you had to make certain lifestyle changes in order to give yourself the best opportunity to make it as a professional athlete.
Yes.
So how did you go about dealing with, distancing yourself from that scene and from certain people that come along with that scene, and how did you deal with that type of adversity?
Yeah, it's still hard, to tell you the truth. Like I'm still on their groups and stuff. I see when you guys go out and stuff like that, and I always want to join.
Yeah, this is not even recorded. We just here to hang out with
Yes, this is just an excuse. That's cool. But it was hard, I won't lie. But to become a professional, you have to make sacrifices like a professional. Unfortunately, I can't go out drinking, and even you, if you want to stop drinking right now and you keep on going out with your friends, eventually you're going to give in and start drinking with them. And then there's also the smoking elements, and smoking kills your fitness. Even once or twice I'd be out with you guys and there was so much smoke, like a cloud, that when I'd go and spar the next day, the guy wouldn't even hit me hard and my nose would start bleeding. Like cigarettes,
we're not that bad, guys.
No,
I'm joking. No, it makes sense though.
Other mates.
Not us three.
Yeah, like
this is actually just apple juice. But yeah, so I just want to touch more like on getting into the professional industry. What does it take to become a professional, and what steps do you have to take?
Jeez, it's a hard
Where can you
road.
classify yourself as a professional boxer in South Africa?
Wow, so you're training 6 days a week, on average 3 times a day. You basically eating, sleeping, training,
Boxing,
going to the track, trying to get a better lap time, running there with some UJ athletes and stuff. That's like amazing, that. Yeah. Even the whole eating parts, like there's a famous saying, like what you put into your body is like your body's like a car. If you give your car bad fuel,
it's going to perform
your car is going to be bad. So you have to put in good fuel to your body.
So it's a lot more than just actually hitting someone. There's obviously an exercise point of view, a dietary point of view. There's all these things that go into becoming a professional athlete.
And
Is what I'm trying to say.
obviously getting the actual the promoters and stuff on board, and I mean.
So that's the hard part of boxing. That's where boxing's a bit cruel, is because if the promoter doesn't like you and doesn't think you're going to go far, why should he?
Because they will organize the fights.
Yes, and to organize fights like these fights that I fight at Emperor's Palace, I don't think they're cheap to put on. You're paying like 12 people's purses. There's food,
no, I can imagine.
There's everything. There's a lot which goes on behind the scene. There's ring doctors. There's like a whole bunch of there's ring girls. There's judges. There's officials. There's bodyguards, security, ticket sales. There's so much which goes in. So there's a lot of money which put into boxing. So if the promoter doesn't see you as a good investment, he's not going to get behind you.
But you sit there just training and training, bro. Everything's business. Someone.
That's why they always say you got to stay ready. So because you can get like one break in boxing. So let's say Canelo Alvarez calls me to come fight right now. That's going to be like a lot of millions of dollars coming into me, So like you have to stay ready to get ready to fight.
And just with regards to your training and your eating and stuff, I mean, do you ever just think, fuck this, dude?
Like, there must be those days.
There must be.
How many times a day are you training?
On average, 3 times a day.
3 times a day. You're eating healthy as hell.
Yeah.
On your weekend, you're training. I mean, do you ever just go like, good Lord?
It's so hard. Making weights is the hardest part about boxing.
Because you've got to either drop or put on.
Yeah, 90% of the time in everyone's life, in most of boxers' lives, they're dropping weights. But it's actually kind of cool that you brought that up, because one day after my fights is when boxers snap. And I actually snapped with Michael and Franco here the one day. I don't know if you guys remember, but I went to Woolworths and just bought like 2 packets full of junk. And then you guys couldn't even keep up with me. There were so many sweets. I dieted. Like Chuckles.
Played so many sweets, bro.
Yeah.
It was amazing for us, though. We were like, this is our everyday life. But it was very cool to see, bro. And the dedication, I think, it's good for everyone to see how much it takes to that you put in, right? And the dedication and the hard work that it's actually paying off is quite good to see, What's your record at the moment?
11 fights. I know,
0 losses. 0 losses.
7 knockouts, And I'd like to go back to one thing Mike said, because staying like away from my friends and stuff has been hard, but like you have to be a professional and
about it, John. Definitely.
And just sometimes you need to make sacrifices for the rewards. And December, or there's always the odd time where I'll catch up with everyone, So
look, the people that matter will always be there and always be supporting you regardless.
I
of
think
the
that's
time.
true.
But I mean, like I said, in order to give yourself the best opportunity, you have to make those sacrifices, and you've had to immerse yourself 100%. Like you said, eat, sleep, everything. Box,
rave, repeat.
And it's pretty, pretty incredible, because obviously we knew you before the boxing scene, and you were a bit wild.
I was very wild.
We saw the rise, which was quite interesting.
Exactly. So to see you literally just stop and just focus was incredible. I
think, and when I say this, I think I can speak on behalf of all of us as to how proud we are of
what you've
not
done.
only what you've done in the sport of boxing, but the person that you have grown into as well,
and become.
Obviously, watching you grow up and turn into what you are now, it's been absolutely amazing, and it's been an inspiration to all of us.
Thanks.
Do you want to do a one-man cap for that again?
Yeah. I tried to cap in the last episode. These guys didn't join us. I was saying. But something interesting that I've been doing for fun, just to see what's going on. Every guest I'll Google, right, before they come on, right? So to me, obviously, he had a full page. He's obviously quite well known in the music industry. So if you Google me or Fraser, nothing comes up, right? So Frey, we haven't made it yet. Mike, if you Google you, there's a golfer. New Zealand golfer comes up. So I Googled you, and things actually come up, So you can see that your hard work is paying off just by a simple Google search, You Google a normal person, nothing comes up. You Google there's a boxing record,
Surely your Facebook image pops up.
So like your Facebook and stuff, if you scroll a bit, you'll see that kind of stuff, but nothing dedicated to who you are and what you've done, right? But I can already see there's South African Boxing Talk YouTube videos that have come up.
The first
there's
one I Googled
boxing records that have popped up. His records. There's an article, even South Africa's Rowan Campbell retains IBO All-Africa title with a TKO. It's amazing what you've done, and the hard work pays off, and I'm just like,
It's
You must
awesome.
be proud of what you've done. You
I
know?
came home the other
Thanks.
day. Ray's on the front page of the newspaper that got at my house. Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks. But also going back to what you guys are saying, the wild me, like I was very wild, did it all.
Yeah.
But that also I think helped with my discipline because I knew what that lifestyle felt like. So now it was like, hey, let's change things
And
up.
maybe
Let's
also you
get
like
super
flushed out your
disciplined
system
and
a bit, you know?
focused. Yeah.
You did it. You done it. Okay, you got the t-shirt. Cool, done. You know,
Yeah.
it's cool.
Been
I
there,
ticked
done
it off
that.
my
Been there, done that.
and that's a huge thing which happens to athletes, specifically in the boxing department.
Oh,
I think
who's that
because
one boxer
they
that
live
I don't want
such a disciplined, strict lifestyle that they all end up going off the rails after a while. You
Who
know,
is
so
that
at least
boxer?
I've done it all.
Tyson Fury
Yeah.
stuff.
So now he's a bit of a mental case. So that one's a tough one. But Mike Tyson,
Tyson,
all
yeah.
of them went crazy afterwards.
There's a South
because of-
African boxer as well who went a bit.
yeah, there's one or two.
They actually got into like very into hectic drugs and started doing like some crazy
Yeah,
things.
there's one or two boxers that have gone to jail and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So at
yeah.
least you've done it first, and now
Yeah.
you're doing boxing. They probably went straight into boxing, and
Yeah.
now they're like, holy shit,
And
what's
I'm-
heroin like?
Yeah. Just
I
a
tried
record, I
boxing.
didn't do that
What's
one,
next?
eh?
Heroin. Okay, so I just want to touch on your fight. Obviously, you can let everyone know with your fight coming up. I think it's the 30th of November.
Yes.
Or the 28th.
30th of November,
November.
Saturday.
What is
Nicholas
it? Because I saw it's
Radley.
actually quite cool. It's almost like a last man standing kind of vibe. Like there's 8 fights going on the whole night.
Yes.
Let everyone know what's going on. Yeah.
That's the middleweights. So I'm fighting a guy called Nicholas Radley. He's
And
very
he's tall.
Yeah,
I spoke
he's
to you about this
6'5".
previously. I said to you, like, this
very
guy is tall, bro.
Yeah.
6'5".
Yeah, he's
I'm
massive.
6'2", and I'm quite tall.
And you're a big guy. Yeah.
He's got like a head on me. I'm not joking.
That's
Like,
crazy.
He's
And
very
it doesn't
tall.
frighten you at all.
Not really. I have quite a lot of tall guys that I
you spar
spar
with?
with and stuff. It does. They do have like an advantage
Yeah.
with like longer arms. They can hit you
The
from
reach.
further. But if my
like
fighting
yeah.
style with the head movements, it's actually
good,
a problem.
yeah.
So he must be quite a ricket then if he's in your weight category.
He is quite skinny, but he's very tall. But he's actually, like I said earlier, he's a weight category above. We're
is it-
Are they
meeting.
trying to meet in the middle?
Yes, we're doing a
Okay.
catch
So
weight.
is this the only fight where you actually have to put on weight?
So actually, yes, yeah. I have to come in.
I thought you would have been quite comfortable. Like relatively.
76 is quite low. I won't lie to you guys. I walk around like 85, 84.
She's like, I weigh 68.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Close to
So yeah,
110.
the whole making weight 110.
Close.
Sorry for laughing. I'm not fat shaming you or anything, but that's a big boy, yeah.
But yeah,
It's like subliminal fat shaming, man. I'm not fat,
Okay,
I'm a little bit fat.
so it doesn't get into your mind at all. You don't get like nervous. Because I mean, if I see a bigger, I'm like, fucking this, bro. I'm like,
Damn
I'm not
right,
gonna
I see the
fight
way
you.
you look at me.
You know, I think that's good, and that's what a boxer has to have in them. You know, that mindset to say, okay, no, I can fight anyone, I can beat anyone, and have
Yeah.
that faith in themselves and their skills and their training, and obviously,
but that's
And-
the thing is you need to have faith in your coach, your abilities. That's also why I don't like to cheat too much in the training because like
that's good, yeah.
whenever the fight night comes, you remember even if you miss like 1 or 2 runs, those are the 2 runs
That's
you
only gonna fuck you
remember.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
And-
days where you feel as though you don't want to train, those are
Yeah.
the days that actually make you, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And also in the gyms, you get to see like all types of people. So like I've seen some of the biggest oaks not be able to punch. Some of the smallest oaks give me like a run for my money,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So like you actually learn not to judge a book
Based
by
on
its
size.
cover,
Yeah.
basically.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's quite interesting, yeah.